Are you joining me? What's going on under there? Huh?
It's time to spend some time with Rick. It's time to spend some time with Rick.
He's a lean and mean former child star. MJ knew him well. Hear him sing, watch him dance, he'll put you under his spell. Behind the scenes, Uncle John, all buddy time with his kids. Everybody around the world, tell what time it is.
It's time to spend some time with Rick.
Jump back, kiss myself.
It's time to spend some time with Rick. With Rick.
What time is it?
With Rick.
What time is it?
With Rick.
What time is it?
All right. So this is, we have no idea how this is going to turn out. We were going to do this before we went and had dinner and drinks and dancing.
And dancing.
But we've had dinner and drinks and dancing.
Yes. So this is your drunk version of our story part 2.
Or our journey part 1.
Our journey part 1.
Yeah.
Let us start.
So the other video, our story, if you haven't seen that, that's going to be at the end of this and a link you can click on. But a lot of you have asked, because we kept it secret and quiet for how long?
For
A year and a half at least.
a year and a half. Yes.
Because we started looking into her visa, and many of you asked what kind of visa. From the get-go, it was a Fiance Visa, a K1 visa.
Yes. So after we confessed our love for each other, we both were like, okay, so what do we do now?
How's it gonna work?
How's it going to work? And we both knew, so there wasn't any kind of proper proposal, but we both knew that we wanted to marry each other. So we were just looking at what kind of visa there are. So we knew about spouse visa, but I know that's a bit complicated. That's one of the complicated ones. So we came across K1 visa. That's the fiance visa.
Yeah.
So
And while there wasn't a proper formal proposal, I did, when I went to visit in September of 2019, I brought a ring with me. And many of you may have seen, she was wearing that ring the whole time from that point on.
yeah,
Yeah,
the silver one.
yeah, the silver ring she was wearing since September of 2019. And then in October of 2019, I actually met with an immigration attorney, and then another one, and then actually connected with the company that we worked with the whole time, which is a company called Rapidvisa.
Yes.
Rapidvisa.com. You can find out about them. It was founded by somebody who had been in love with a woman from the Philippines, and there was no one to help him get the visa, so he created a company after going through the experience, knowing there'd probably be a lot of people like him who needed help. So they were a huge help for us to get the process going. But the process itself took a long time.
Took a long time, and COVID happened.
In the midst of all of it, we weren't just dealing with a normal K1 visa situation.
Yeah.
We were dealing with all of the questions and timeframes and fears of COVID.
Yes.
So once we started working with Rapidvisa, which was in November of 2019, we actually didn't begin the process because one of the things that I had to show to United States Immigration before they would give the approval was I had to show my proof of divorce. And oddly enough, weirdly enough, that got hung up and took a really long time to get that proof. What was supposed to have taken a 6-month time frame actually took us 10 months instead, which we couldn't even begin the K-1 process until we had that judgment to submit to immigration. So we had to go November, December, January of 2020, February, March, April, and then in May, got the proof we needed to put together with a bunch of other stuff we had to send to Rapidvisa first to proof it and let us know if it was going to be okay. And then once they said yes, immigration should like this, it's all put together, we had to send it. And it had like everything. 3 years of my tax returns, 10 months of bank statements, all of her personal information. We had to prove our relationship was real. I printed out 70 or 80 pages of Instagram posts and YouTube posts.
Yeah, and that wasn't enough. Like,
Right.
Because Rapidvisa said like text messages and photos, they can be photoshopped. So give us legit proof. And we were like,
Oh, and
what?
yeah, one of those proofs that you have to have,
Yeah.
you have to have been physically together with one another and prove it within a year
Yes.
of
So you needed like hotel receipts, restaurant receipts,
boarding passes.
boarding pass. Who keeps boarding pass? So I was rummaging through my trash can. Basically, I did that once.
Well, and I
It
think
was like,
I think a
where is
big help was the fact that on the OSR trip,
Mm-hmm.
that was there were so many videos we posted. It was irrefutable proof.
They keep
We
an
were in
eye
India
on
together.
you. Yeah, like once you tell U.S. immigration with consulate basically that we are going to go through this process, they keep an eye on you basically.
Yeah,
So
and so we knew Big Brother was watching
Yes.
the whole time. But then once we were approved, so that process was from the beginning of the process was October 2019. We were approved by immigration August of 2020. But that meant we now had to submit everything to the Visa Processing Center in, I believe it's Nevada, who then 6 to 8 weeks after that would send the entire package to the embassy in Mumbai. In the past, they had sent it to the embassy in Kolkata because there is one there. But no, couldn't be that easy. Every single K-1 visa in India is processed in Mumbai. Doesn't matter where you live.
So I had to fly to Mumbai to give my interview.
And your
I-
physical.
And my physical. And let me tell you this. There was the Delta variant going on in Mumbai, and I had to plead to the US consulate, US embassy basically, and ask them that please can you consider, because there's a pandemic going on, and just because of this reason can I take my interview in my residential city? But no, you
No.
are not that special.
Yeah.
We don't
no.
care if you get COVID.
And we understood because we know there are so many people who commit fraud in this process.
Yes.
It's a $1 billion industry
Yes.
where someone from another country will pay an American to help them process, and that is a big time
Yeah.
felony
Yeah.
in the United States,
Yeah.
As it should be. And so
The thing that I get accused of. most
yeah,
of the
exactly.
time.
The ridiculousness of that. So the weirdly enough, once it got to Mumbai, things got weird. Things were pretty straightforward. They were just time consuming, and we had question marks about how long everything was going to take. I mean, when you consider we began the process in October, didn't get the approval from immigration, and that we could have been denied.
Yes. So we had that stress as well, not just how long it is going to take because
Oh,
of
yeah.
COVID. We had no idea when the travel ban is going to get lifted, but we also had this in mind. That's why we wanted to keep it private, because you don't know what is going to happen. It might just come out denied.
Correct.
So that's why we were just very quiet about it. So,
Yeah, and it could have, in other words, immigration could have said,
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah.
and it would have never
Not
made it to
approved.
Mumbai. And then we had the option, if that happened, to reapply, but that would have taken another 6 months. But thankfully, we got that, and it was really hard not to share that with everybody. We shared it with close family when we were approved and knew we could take the next step. But then we had to put everything together again in a whole new package to send off to Mumbai. And then when things got there was an entire form we had to fill out for the embassy in Mumbai.
Yes, because I think the location was wrong in that form. It
Well,
was
yeah.
Kolkata instead
Originally, I had checked off the embassy in Kolkata because
Yeah.
there is one. And
Yeah.
it had said when we started the process that you could get your K1 visa interview and everything done there. So I checked that off, and this will come back in a moment as to why that's important. So and that's like a 12, 14 page document that we had to fill out. But then Indrani had to go through the process of, in Kolkata, you had to have a full background check done to get your certificate.
Yes, you get your police certificate, police clearance certificate, and
There was
I
something
think
else you had to do in Kolkata before you went to Mumbai.
police clearance certificate. Get the certificate.
Oh, and then you had to have a COVID test before you got on the plane.
Yeah, that's
But there was something else. No? I thought there was a second thing. No. And then you had to go to Mumbai and had to time the appointment for her physical
yes.
4 to 5 days before her interview, because there was a time frame. They would give you the results within 4 to 5 days, and we didn't want to have her fly to Mumbai, get her physical, fly to Kolkata, and then fly from Kolkata back to Mumbai for the interview. So we timed it so that her physical was on Monday and her interview was on Friday. But when we say she had an interview, we didn't just get to suddenly find out we had an interview. Once the package went from the United States to the embassy in Mumbai, we had to go on the embassy's website every day and hope a date was open. And no, day after day, day after day, week after week, week after week, every single day, nothing. Now that had also happened when we were waiting for the judgment. I went on the computer at the LA County Courthouse every single day on my computer at home from December of 2019 until May of 2020, every business day. Where is it? Is the judgment in? Is the judgment in? Is the judgment in? And then once a date would be set with the embassy, we didn't get a choice. We just had to take that date because it was the only one that was open.
And I think you can choose a date or cancel and choose again, reschedule only 3 times.
Only 3 times.
Yeah.
And when a date finally came through, which was in early July of this year, it was literally within 7 days of me having logged into the computer. So I called up Indrani and said, babe, it gave me a date and you literally have to be in Mumbai in like 7 days.
I couldn't do it.
We couldn't
because-
do it.
Yeah, like we had to book a hotel, get a plane ticket, and all that was not possible.
And the physical.
And the physical.
And there was only one place in Mumbai that was approved by the embassy. You couldn't just go to your doctor.
You cannot just go to any clinic in Mumbai or in your
Or
residential
go in your own city.
which I again pleaded the embassy that can I at least get my blood tests and every other tests done in a diagnostic center in Kolkata
Here in
and
Kolkata.
then bring it back.
Oops,
They're
sorry,
like,
babe.
no,
No,
you can't do that.
there was only one qualified to do that. But you did say that when you did go to that place, they were great.
They were great. It
The
was
physical.
a 4-hour process.
Oh.
The whole physical.
Did everything. Like
Yes.
a psychological examination,
Evaluation,
drew
a blood
blood,
test, urine test, chest x-ray.
updated you on all of the vaccinations that are required to get into the United
Yes,
States.
Yes, eye exam,
Uh-huh.
everything.
Everything.
So,
And then had to wait for the results, so we were at the mercy of them to get that in time for her interview. And then came the interview, which again could have had a denial. All the way up to this point, you could be denied from immigration, you could be denied at the embassy, and then you could be denied at the interview.
you could also be denied when you arrive at
Correct.
the States and the immigration officer is just talking to you.
Yeah.
So if he sees something, he or she sees something off, he can just say like, yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah, so
allowed
all the way up to
country.
even though once we got approved, which we'll tell you about that in a second, we get approved for Mumbai. She gets her airline ticket to come here. Even waiting for her there at LAX, there was the prospect that for some reason the immigration officer there could say, no, you can't come into the country. But the day of the visa was wild, to say the least. Because what had happened, I had previously been communicated by the embassy in Mumbai that the form had mistakenly said Kolkata in it instead of Mumbai. Andrani had said that a minute ago. So I called them up and said, what do I need to do? They said, you need to go into the form and fix it to make it say Mumbai. I do that. They check it. They say it looks good. I then called them about 4 days before her interview and verified. I said, look, I've changed it. It looks good. Do I need Indrani to have a completely new printout that shows Mumbai, or will the barcode on the old one work? And they said, the barcode on the old one will work. Did the barcode on the old one work?
No, senor. It didn't.
So let's talk about the wonderful guardian angels you had in Mumbai when you got there.
My guardian angels in Mumbai were Shreya and Vicky. Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to do this process.
Yep.
Like the whole just abruptly going to Mumbai and then
Well, because we originally had planned for this process when we were thinking it through at the very get-go. We were thinking when it gets to the point